Welcome to Coffee Talk. I am your host, MISHUMA, SABA, M.SABA, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast. Stay tuned. Peace. And welcome to Coffee Talk Podcast. This is your Wednesday night sports edition. I am your host, MISHUMA, SABA, M.SABA, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast. How y'all doing this evening? If you hear the fan in the background, I do apologize. I just got out the shower and I wanted to make sure that I was on time to the show. Well, I didn't get on time. I was late. But I'm here now. How y'all doing, man? This is the Wednesday night sports edition. I feel like I'm echoing. So let me know if I'm doing that. But this is the Wednesday night sports show. This is the Cultural Variety Podcast show. We're going to get it in tonight. Happy to be back. I haven't saw y'all since Wednesday. In all actuality, I saw you the other day, but you know what I mean. It's Wednesday night sports edition. So I only talk to, I won't say I only, but, I talk to the people that enjoy watching Coffee Talk Podcasts on Wednesday nights because we actually do appear 3 days a week. All right, but let me know what you're doing. What's going on in the sports world that sticks out to you right now? What has caught your eye? I know that Errol Spence and Crawford are trying to get the paperwork together for their fight. They're thinking about Terrence Crawford, by the way. They're thinking about fighting sometime in October or December. So look for that. Other big fights that are coming up in the boxing schedule or that they're still in negotiations is Ryan Garcia against Gervonta Davis. So I would love to see that fight. I'm tired of Ryan Garcia, and I want to see Tank take him out, man. You know what I'm talking about? So what's going on with y'all? What's going on in the sports world? We just lost Bill Russell. Yeah, we lost Bill Russell. To you young people, do you know anything about Bill Russell? The big leprechaun, number 6 for Boston. Let us know. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let us know what's your thoughts on Bill Russell. What other sports things are out there in the sports world right now? Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is getting called to the CEO's office. I didn't want to say the other words, so we just called the man respectfully the CEO's office. But Kevin Durant is in the news because he's saying that he knew that they was going to lose that decisive game against Boston. And, a lot of people don't like to hear that, man. This is the era now where they even have the motto that you're going out on your shield. That's a boxing topic. And it just means that champions got to go out. You ain't going to never just quit. You got to take it to the end, man, whether that's a game 5, whether that's a game 7, whether that's a boxing match, whether that's a track and field event. You always got to push your greatness. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be great, you can't just be great talking about it. You got to go out there and achieve, push the milestones and things like that. But that's the brief little things that I've heard in sports this past week. But tonight I got a great show. I want to take you back through memory lane. We want to talk about and give our respects as we do here at Coffee Talk Podcast. I want to go ahead and give my respects to no other than the great Evander Holyfield. That's right, the great Evander Holyfield. And we're also going to talk about Jim Plunkett, Los Angeles Raiders quarterback, a legend, Super Bowl champion, Jim Plunkett. So we definitely want to give our props to Jim Plunkett as well. And then we're going to also talk about them Griffeys. That's right, the Griffeys. What is the Griffey? Some people are saying that may not be of the culture. Well, the Griffeys was the tennis shoe that was out back in the 90s, this shoe right here. So that's what we're going to be discussing. the Ken Griffeys. We're going to reflect on those shoes. And that's what we're going to do. So go ahead, stay tuned. This is Coffee Talk Podcast. And what I would like to do before we get the show started is I'm going to go ahead and give you a 30-second break so that you can go ahead and pour you something that got some flavor in it. And then you can come back, kick your feet up, relax, and enjoy our humble home here at Coffee Talk Podcast. We'll be right back in 30 seconds. Peace. Peace, 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 and welcome to Coffee Talk Podcast. This is the Cultural Variety Podcast Show, and I am your host, MISHUMA SABA, M.SABA, and this is our Wednesday night sports edition. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. If this is your first time joining the show, we never start the show without giving it its flavor. Well, today's flavor is really just a dedication. That's right. This past 2 months, I lost my uncle, and my uncle was a great sports storyteller, great man, great husband, great for the community, was involved in the community. And I thought that today's flavor, I wanted to go ahead and dedicate that to my uncle. His name is Charles Neal, and I always laugh when I'm in my man cave. Now that he's moved on to the Essence, because this is what he would do. We would always go over to his home, and he'd always sit in his man cave and enjoy his man cave. Sometimes he would pull his fishing rod out and just be, flickering it back and forth as if he's casting out bait and watching fishing shows while he was doing that. And it was just really admirable, but also it was fun, man. He was, again, a very great sports storyteller, and he would use sports and its messages to explain some of the things that we go through just on a day-to-day basis as people in our communities. So again, shout out to my Uncle Charles Neal. You are today's flavor. May you continue to move in light, Uncle. Peace and love and respect. All right. So that's today's flavor. Next, today's wise words. We always got to give you the wise words. And so today's wise words comes from a controversial man. That's right, a very controversial man, but a man that turned his life around. You know what I'm saying? He did some bad things, man, and he wanted to go ahead and repent those things. He wanted to go ahead and forgive himself. He also wanted to go ahead and create positive messages to those that may have followed him in the negative ways and traps that he laid out here for a lot of people over the nation. You know what I'm saying? So tonight's wise words is from legendary gangster, Mr. Tookie Williams of the LA Crips. So let's go ahead and go into the wise words for Tookie Williams. Listen to the wise words, baby. Wise words by Tookie Williams. In prison, violence is like an active volcano. It can erupt at any time. Violence can come from someone you hardly know, or even from someone who is very close to you. You can have a friend today, and tomorrow he can become your number one enemy. It's crazy in here. Life in prison. And the reason why that's the wise words today from Tookie Williams is because if you listen to the message, it's telling our youth, it's telling our young adults, it's telling people not to make bad decisions. You don't want to be in prison doing 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 3 years, 2 years, 24 months. Prison is not a place for no man. However, prison is a place for a criminal. So the wise words for the day is Mr. Tukey Williams telling you that you don't want to be in here. So if you are an athlete, stay an athlete. I hate to see athletes make it to a certain level where they can create generational wealth for their families, because that should be part of the square you stand on. Only to go ahead and blow it because you want to be like the imagery that comes through TV, or you want to be like the knuckleheads, and you go out there with your fame and you get yourself caught up and you lose contracts. You even go to jail. You know, and I can name a lot of celebrities, or not celebrities, but athletes, because again, this is Coffee Talk Sports Edition, so we are talking athletes that made it to that threshold and then blew it because they still wanted to live the gangster lifestyle, man. So again, Tukey Williams' wise words is this: in prison, violence is like an active volcano. It can erupt at any time. Violence can come from someone you hardly know, or even from someone who is very close to you. You can have a friend today, and tomorrow he can become your number one enemy. It's crazy in here. Life in prison. Tukey Williams. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the show. Again, this is a Coffee Talk Podcast Sports Edition. I am your host, M. SABA. And we're going to talk Evander Holyfield, man. This brother here, Evander Real Deal Holyfield, 6'2" with a 77-inch reach. He was born October 19th, 1962. Today, he is 59 years old. He was born in Atmore, Alabama. And now, as you know, the last, 30 years, he's resided in Atlanta, Georgia. He had 57 total fights, 44 wins, 10 losses, 2 draws, and 1 no contest. Evander Holyfield, he reigned as undisputed at cruiserweight, undisputed at heavyweight in the early 90s. Evander Holyfield, the only boxer to hold the undisputed titles in 2 weight classes. Today, we salute the great Evander Real Deal Holyfield here on Coffee Talk Podcast Sports Edition. What's your thoughts on Holyfield, y'all? I'm going to go ahead and say this. I'm going to go ahead and list some of the people that met defeat when dealing with Holyfield. Check out these names. Big George Foreman. The Eastern Assassin, Larry Holmes. Riddick Big Daddy Bo. Buster Douglas. And the legendary, one of the greatest of all time, Mike Tyson. Evander Holyfield beat all those men. That's right. Evander Holyfield beat all those Hall of Famers. That's right. Evander Holyfield was undisputed. Do you understand what that means, sports fans? He was undisputed at cruiserweight, undisputed at heavyweight champ. I seen the man knock people out cold. Yes, I did. If you're ever interested in going back and looking at such boxing matches, classics with that involve Evander Holyfield, definitely go to the, these platforms out here, man. Check out YouTube. Also, check out Coffee Talk Podcast because we're on YouTube as well. But today, we want to go ahead and give our shouts out to Evander Holyfield, man. Do y'all remember the Evander Holyfield Michael Moore fight? Go ahead and leave a comment. How about when the guy, Fan Man, he parachuted? That's right. This guy parachuted out the sky in Las Vegas. It was at the MGM Grand outside. Evander Holyfield was fighting Riddick Big Daddy Bo, the second match. This guy parachutes, but he got some type of fan on his back. Collides right into the ring of the Holyfield Riddick Bo match. Or what about when Mike Tyson bit his ear? I ain't gonna front. When they both was at their epitome in the rankings of the heavyweight division, I'm talking about Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield. I knew back then that Holyfield would beat Tyson. I did. Because Holyfield was a pure fighter. Olympian. He took bronze in the 84 Olympics. But he was a pure fighter. The guy was solid. 6'2", a 77-inch wingspan. I knew he would beat Tyson. But when they were supposed to have that first fight, that's when the allegations happened with Mike Tyson, and Mike Tyson went off to prison. What was that, 3 years? But they finally did have the fight. 2 of them. And Evander Holyfield won them both. So tonight, we go ahead and salute the champ, man. We definitely salute you. We want to extend our gratitude. We want to give you your flowers, as they say. We want to pay our respects and our homage to you, Evander Holyfield. Evander, real deal Holyfield. All right, next, here on Coffee Talk Podcast, we're going to go ahead and discuss and give our props to a legend, a man that is of Mexican-American, but his mother was also Native. We want to go ahead and pay our respects to the great quarterback, number 16 of the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders. That's how the dude used to say it on ESPN, man. Don't attack me. That's how he used to say it. The Los Angeles Raiders. But yeah, man, we want to go ahead and give our props to number 16, man, at quarterback for the black and silver, man, and that's Jim Plunkett. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and discuss Jim Plunkett. Jim Plunkett, number 16 for the Raiders, man, was born December 5th, 1947. Today, he is 74 years old. He stood at 6'3". He attended college for Stanford. He also was an NFL draft pick in 1971. He went in the first round, overall first pick. Overall, out of all the draft players, he got selected first in 1971. Jim Plunkett represents Mexican-American pride. His mother has Native American ancestry. Jim Plunkett became starting quarterback in 1980. He led the team that year to the Super Bowl 15. Jim Plunkett played for 3 different teams. From 1971 to 75, he played for the New England Patriots. From 1976 to 1977, he played for the 49ers. And from 1978 to 1986, Jim Plunkett, that's right, Jim Plunkett played for your Los Angeles Raiders. Big 16 was a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He was a Heisman winner in 1970. He was a Super Bowl MVP. And also, Stanford College retired his number 16 jersey. But let's go ahead and have our discussion, shall we? He's not in the Hall of Fame, y'all. Yeah, he's not. I was surprised as well when I found out. I mean, we just covered the stats. He's a two-time Super Bowl champ. He's a Super Bowl MVP. He won the Heisman. He was drafted in the first round, first player selected. He starred with Lyle Alzado. He starred with that boy Marcus Allen from USC. Big 32 in the black and silver. Yeah, man. I believe back then everybody was a Raiders fan because of the black and silver was intimidating. Especially on Monday Night Football, when you would hear Howard Cosell or you would hear John Madden. They kept the games hype, exciting. Jim Plunkett wasn't a deep down passer. He didn't go for long yardage. He was a dumpster. He would dump a pass here, dump a pass there, dump a pass there, little 5-yard drops. But he was efficient. He always knew how to throw that pass right there and catch you in stride. Statistics speak for himself. Do you think that Jim Plunkett should be in the Hall of Fame? Go ahead and leave a comment. Hit the like button. Call your friends. Call your friends. Hey, yo, text them. Hey, Coffee Talk's on right now. You missing it. It's a great show. What's y'all's thoughts on Jim Plunkett? Do you have any stories? If your uncles or your fathers are there with you watching the show, ask them. What do they remember of Jim Plunkett? I remember Plunkett giving Marcus Allen that handoff against John Riggins and the Washington Redskins, where when he took the handoff, Marcus Allen went one way, then reversed, went the opposite way, and ran a 75-yard touchdown. I remember the leadership of Jim Plunkett. And of course, we always were surprised, and not really surprised at his talents, because again, his stats stood out. But it was just different during that era because we never seen a Mexican really at quarterback. It was hard enough trying to be a black quarterback in the National Football League. This guy busted his butt, man, or I'm sorry, pause. He busted his tail, man. He worked very hard for those inspiring athletes that are interested in going into quarterback. He developed arm strength. He built his football IQ by studying film. Let's discuss why he's not in the Hall of Fame. One of the reasons why he's not in the Hall of Fame right now, and he's more borderline, is because he only had 3 successful winning seasons. That's right. He only had 3 successful winning seasons. But to get to where he got to, being a 2-time Super Bowl champ, a Super Bowl MVP, a Heisman Trophy winner, he did enough. I believe he should be celebrated. And this is why we celebrate our own here at Coffee Talk Podcast. We celebrate our own. So I want to go ahead and give props to Jim Plunkett. I want to give props to the Mexican heritage, his Mexican heritage. I want to give props to his mother's native ancestry. This guy inspired a lot of people. He's a true champion. So let me know if he should be in the Hall of Fame. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are on Jim Plunkett. Do you remember any games? Do you remember any games where they played the Minnesota Vikings? Go ahead and look up some of his statistics. The boy was bad. And that is Mr. Jim Plunkett. All right. Next segment here at Coffee Talk Podcast. What we going to do, man? What we going to do? We're going to go back. How back? Way back. When they used to rock the Ken Griffey Juniors. That's right. The Ken Griffey Juniors back in 1996. That's right. There's your boy Junior right there in the upper corner. Ken Griffey Jr. Daddy played. His daddy was Ken Griffey Sr. They played baseball. They both legendary Hall of Famers. Well, anyway, Ken Griffey Jr. had one of the top selling shoes in the 1990s. Very classy shoe, very hip hop during this time. The Nike Air Max Griffey, the Nike Air Griffey Max 1s was the first of its kind for baseball. Yeah, you had the Bo Jacksons at the time, and you also had the Deons, the Prime Times. But those were more for football-related shoes. These were the first baseball shoes. And I know cats, man, wanted these shoes so bad back in the 90s that they would hoop in these. I never wore them in basketball. I don't know what they felt like, but I know that these were nice. These were nice back when you used to wear a nice little cool blue jean. You know what I'm saying? A Jabot jean or something like that. Because back then they used to have, you know, the Jabot jeans. If you had some Jabot jeans back then, you know, you were shining. You know, and you have you on some Ken Griffey's. You were shining back then. You know. His shoe inspired a whole generation. Again, it was classic hip-hop. Anywhere you went hip-hop, somebody had the Ken Griffey's on. In 1996, Nike asked Junior, Ken Griffey Jr., they like to call him Junior, to join the likes of Michael Jordan, Andre Agassi, Bo Jackson, and Deion Primetime Sanders. What's your thoughts on the Ken Griffey Juniors? Did you ever have a pair? Right now, if you was to go ahead and go on the Google and look up the Ken Griffey shoes, man, they can range anywhere between $150-something up to $360. It's a must-have if you are a shoe collector. What is your thoughts on Ken Griffey? You know, Ken Griffey Jr. played in baseball professionally during the time his father did. Sort of like what LeBron James is trying to do now by trying to remain in the league as long as he can so he can fulfill his dream of playing alongside his son Bronny in the NBA. Do you think they'll make it? Go ahead and leave your comments. This is Coffee Talk Podcast, the cultural variety podcast show. Other than that, it's Woo Wednesday. What are y'all doing tonight on Wednesday? I know there's a lot of spoken word going on throughout my city. There's also karaoke going on throughout the Twin Cities. You know, it's a good night, you know. It's very hot out, so I know there's pretty toes out. Now, I just like to joke with that. I just like to joke. All right. Well, anyway, I would like to say this. Thank you for continuing to tune in to Coffee Talk Podcast. It's been a pleasure to go ahead and host our sports tonight. And we do this every Wednesday. So if you ever want to stop in at Coffee Talk Podcast, feel free to come on in. Pour yourself some water, some wine, a smoothie, a cappuccino. But come on in, kick your feet up, relax, enjoy our humble home here at Coffee Talk Podcast. And until then, I want to go ahead and say this. We have one more show. That's right. One more show this weekend. And then we're going to go down for about a week and just go ahead and do some behind the scenes stuff. And so that we can prepare for our new fall season that's coming up. That's right. Coffee Talk Podcast. We're going to bring you more great topics. We're going to bring you more entrepreneurs. We're going to give you more people that you can relate to, such as entrepreneurs, small businesses, people with careers. We're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to continue to give you the flavor here at Coffee Talk Podcast. So I'd like to go ahead and thank you for tuning in. I'm going to hit you with the universal peace sign until we meet again this weekend, Saturday. I'll see you soon. Peace.